I heard about you long before we met. You're winsome and you're young, at least.
Right, just driving back from what I think is the last shoot now for our series, Race to Perfection, the 7-part Formula One documentary history series, which will be airing for the first time this weekend on Saturday and Sunday. 2 airings, one on in the UK anyway, one on both at 9 o'clock at night, peak time, which is good. One on the first one is on the Sky documentary channel, and the second one on Sky Sports. So I really hope you're going to enjoy that. It seems like a bit of a sad day to have finally finished after all the filming we've been doing since beginning of the end of September last year, just about a year actually of filming, with just a brilliant array of people talking about their time in Formula One, some of them active, some of them not. I'm not supposed to give too much away, but what I will say is that I think the producer, Andrew DeSouza, has done a superb job, and I think you'll agree when you start to watch, as have the team of cameramen and soundmen we've had. I think we've had absolutely the cream of the cream in doing this, and it's been a complete and utter pleasure and privilege to be a small part of its production and to be following it all as it's grown and as we've come up with new ideas and new threads of where we're going to go, and people to whom we've been able to speak. I haven't been able to get to speak to everybody we wanted to because of COVID, but I think the end product is going to be great. So the first episode, there's 7 episodes, the first going out this Sunday, every episode after that going out a week later. So enjoy. I hope you really enjoy it. It's a bit of a bittersweet feeling right now, just as I say, driving home after the last shoot, but it was good fun, and there'll be plenty more, I think, and I hope. Anyway, looking back now at recent events, good to hear that Renault rebranding as Alpine. It's got a nice ring to it, and they're going to be blue as well, so that's good. Fernando Alonso in a blue Alpine Formula One car next year. Wow, pretty good. Esteban Ocon. So that's good news. Simon Roberts is going to be the interim team principal at Williams. Good. He's a good man, ex-McLaren, logical, clear thinker, I think. So I think he'll do a very good job. Who am I to say that? But I think he will. And but as I said before, anything's going to be better than where we've been in the last couple of years with the management that's been appalling. And it's just a shame that Sir Frank eventually has had to sell his shares because of that, and equally that Johnny Williams was never given a chance, because I think he would have done a really good job putting together a really good management team around him. But that's not going to happen, certainly in the foreseeable future, and we wish Simon all the best in that new role. I'm sure he'll do a very good job, and from where Williams were and where they were going, this has got to be a step in the right direction. Absolutely, so good. And then moving back, just looking back at Monza, I chatted to one of the winning drivers in one of the support races on WhatsApp, so that's coming up in just a minute. Before I do that, very good Formula 3 win, another good Formula 3 win for Jay Hughes. He's sort of under the radar, very experienced now English race driver who definitely deserves a drive with a proper factory team. I'm not necessarily saying he's going to make Formula One. I hope he does, but if not, he definitely deserves to be in something really good, whether it be sports cars or Formula E or something like that. This guy's really good, and his performances this year, I think, have been very, very polished. Good Formula 2 win too for Mick Schumacher. Brilliant to see him win the feature race, the first feature race win for Mick. He won the sprint race in Hungary last year, but he's had a relatively tough time this year at Prema, but he he drove well at Belgium, and he did a great job at Monza, and congratulations to him. Really good drive, competitive, aggressive, good off the line, very good into the first corner, just looked like a winner. He really, really good. And as I said before, it's easy to say, oh, well, he's Mick Schumacher, he should be doing this, should be doing that, but he's not as good as his dad, or whatever you want to say. I think he's doing an incredible job, given the pressures of his name, A, and B, given all the personal circumstances that he's living with. And to come out and to drive that well and to be that positive about life, I think is just amazing. And I got a lot of time for Mick. Really, really pleased to see him win that race. The other F2 race won by Dan Ticktum of Dams. But going back to the feature race, Formula 3 was just amazing at Monza. Both races were amazing. Lots of slipstreaming, lots of passing, lots of incidents, 30 cars as we know. Qualifying was a complete mayhem as well. But the man who came out ahead on the feature for the feature win was Frederik Vesti, who we've spoken to already on this show. He won in the wet in Austria as a rookie coming into Formula 3. He's had some good weekends, bad weekends, as you do in Formula 3. It's so competitive and so difficult to get a really good qualifying run week after week after week with 30 cars out there. But the momentum started to build again after Spa, and at Monza, despite qualifying 9th with a penalty, he won the race in style, passing Theo Pourchaire of ART, another very promising rookie, at just the right moment towards the end of the race, going into turn 1, and we'll be talking about that in a second. One thing I would like to say, as good as Theo Pourchaire obviously is, I was very disappointed to see him going absolutely over the top with hand gestures and finger gestures, specifically very rude finger gestures, in untimed practice on Friday at Monza. Some guy had obviously held him up or cut him up or done something, but I think at that level, at any level of racing now, I think it's time to jump on all these finger gestures and stop them before they get out of hand, because all it is bad examples for the next generation. And if as a Formula 3 driver you're allowed to get away with that, it's going to continue right through to Formula 1. And yeah, you could say it's a bit over the top for me to be saying that, but you know, we're very politically correct about so many things in the sport now. I think it's time to jump on these very rude hand gestures as well. If there's something to be said to another driver, say it when you get out of the race car, and say it in the right environment at the end of the session or the race or whatever it is. You don't even need to swear into the radio either. I think we should start to be really strict about that, and only because of the next generation that are watching and learning from what they see the stars doing. Anyway, without any more ado, I dialed up Frederik Vesti on WhatsApp to congratulate him on that brilliant Monza win, and please watch this in its entirety, because this guy is seriously bright, seriously switched on, and I think is a genuine star of the future. And it's just a pleasure chatting to him about racing in general, let alone about a day as good as the one he enjoyed at Monza. So here he is. Frederik, great to see you. Where are you now? You're at Prema, I guess, back at Prema.
Yeah, we're at Prema now. We have to prepare Mugello, so we will be doing some meetings and some simulator, and also some media work.
What an amazing weekend for the team. Well, particularly that Saturday with you and Mick Schumacher winning and securing the F3 Teams Championship for Prema.
Yeah, exactly. You know, it seemed like everything went right for Prema. We got the right setup, and also we had some luck with us, and that's what you need to win.
Qualifying, just amazing. The number of cars out there, 30 cars. I don't know what sort of distance they were all covered by, probably just a couple of 100 meters. How did qualifying go for you? Because you ended up getting a penalty. Tell us about that.
Yeah, so basically we went out on the first run. Everyone knew it would be difficult to get a lap in, so I think everyone in run 1 stayed quite calm and just did their lap as they were. I was P2 after that first run, where everyone finished a good lap. And then in run 2 we went out like everyone else, did our warm-up, and then everyone started backing up and slowing down because no one wanted to go first. And I had around, I would say, 12 cars ahead of me, and a few people behind me was pushing. So yeah, every lap I wanted to go, I basically got blocked and was in traffic everywhere, so we couldn't really do much. And then I was really unlucky to be at the wrong time, the wrong place at the wrong time, basically, where I was being slowed down and blocked into a corner. And then another fast car came behind me, and obviously I was there because of the guys ahead of me, and I actually received a 3 grid penalty for this, which was very annoying because it wasn't something I did on purpose. Obviously there was people ahead of me braking.
Well, then you had that amazing race against Theo Pourchaire, who'd looked really strong all weekend, and that amazing pass into turn 1. Tell us about that.
Yeah, so after the safety car restart, I very quickly got past JQs, and I was right behind Theo. And for a few laps, I was pushing to get past him, but he had some good pace initially after that safety car. So I decided to, let's say, back off a little bit, still be within overtake range, but I wanted to figure out where is he strong, where is he weak, and where am I weak? Where can I improve to be able to follow him closer, and then commit to one corner where I want to overtake him. So basically, I spent 3-4 laps looking at his driving, looking at myself through Lesmo 1, Lesmo 2. How do I get as close as possible to him to get the slipstream? And after some laps, I figured out what I wanted and what I needed to do, and I committed. I was sure that I could win this race, and I committed to that. So I came out of Parbolca at the last corner of Monza, and I could see I had a good run on Theo. But it wasn't going to be easy on the brakes because, I wasn't past him. I had to do it on the brakes. But all weekend I've been feeling really strong on the brakes in turn 1, and I knew I could do it, and I just went for it. I wanted that win more than anything, and it was such a good feeling getting past him.
Turn 1 is an obvious passing place, but it can be very, very risky there. You're very dependent on getting your braking perfect and everything working out with the other guy too.
Yeah, so obviously we were both on the very limit of the braking, and I think it was clear that when I wanted to turn in, I still had so much braking pressure in the car, in the brakes, that it simply locked my front wheels. In the end, it also helped me to stabilize the car because I had a lot of speed, and with that little front lock, I got a little bit of understeer that just made it a bit easier for me. So yeah, I sort of lived and controlled it with the brakes and the turn-in.
Sounds very Rob Wilson-esque.
Well, for me, Rob Wilson has taught me many things, and I think building up, looking at your opponent ahead of you is everything you need to do. If you know where he's weak and where he's strong, and you know where you're weak and strong, I think you can put together the right thing to overtake and basically to be faster than the guy ahead of you.
So without giving too much away, can you talk about how that materialized? How did your driving compare with Theo, and what did you do to adjust?
So I knew I had the top speed to overtake him because of the slipstream, but I need to figure out a way that I could follow him closely to then take advantage of the slipstream I had and the top speed. For example, in Lesmo 1, I was obviously struggling with the understeer because of all the dirty air. I my front, and I didn't have enough downforce in the car because of the air. So what I wanted to try was to go in a bit more aggressive and hook up the car a little bit later and a little bit more on the inside, so I had a bit more downforce on my car. And when I started learning that and getting better every corner to do that, I started seeing opportunities and started seeing that actually, if I do this and this, I get closer and I benefit even more from the slipstream. And then I took the decision. Now it's the lap. I feel comfortable that I can do it, and I know Theo is pushing 100%. So I decided to go for it, brake as late as I could, and trust the car would stick when I turned in, and it did. And then obviously I was close down the straight, and I had the slipstream to come close to him. And then in the brakes, I passed him.
I heard about you long before we met. You're winsome and you're young, at least that's what they said. Underneath your glitter and your gold, you can't deny the fact that you are growing